welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are a subscriber, you would know that I have not filmed or posted or literally anything in a very long time. If you watched my last update video, you would know that I really only want to record and post when I feel like it. It's not something that I want to pursue as almost like a requirement anymore. It just kind of made it feel like I had to, not necessarily that I wanted to. So with that being said, this is something that I want to do today. I just posted our girls trip from March. It took me so long to get that posted because it was a series of 5 days, 4 days, 5 days, 4 days of literally going back to back to back stuff, and it was so hard. My camera battery, like dual charger, fell apart. So there were a lot of things that got incredibly difficult because obviously I couldn't charge my camera battery, so there was limited things that I could film, whole thing. But anyways, I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a recap and a little bit of a Q&A from our last trip. And then I'm going to talk about our next trip that we're taking, specifically Emily and I. This trip, to preface, was just with me and Gracie, one of my best friends from college. So with that being said, we're going to talk about our day one. This was the first time I had ever done this. And what I mean by this is waking up at book crack in the morning. I think we woke up at like 3 a.m. and then flew at 5:30 from Pittsburgh to MCO, and then attempted to do an entire Magic Kingdom day. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't do an entire Magic Kingdom day. We just definitely were a little cranky towards like 1 p.m. and then went back to our resort. We did use Mears Transportation. I will say I have used Mears in the past. We used it, I think, a year ago now, May of 2025, and it was great. It was fine. Our plane landed super late, so I think that experience was a little different than this time because they were super flexible on when we landed, automatically getting us onto a bus because we were some of the last people there. This time, however, we were some of the first people there, which meant that we were not instantly put on a bus, and we sat there and we waited for a little bit, and then we got on a bus and then moved to a different place where we got to sit and wait. So it was definitely an experience. We ended up being 2 hours behind schedule and ended up missing our first dining reservation, which is fine. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was just kind of a bummer, but it all ended up working out. I don't think we're gonna use Mears again, or at least I'm gonna use Mears again for that reason. I just didn't feel like they were the most dependable. I think moving forward when we fly into MCO, we're either going to just get an Uber or a Lyft from the airport. So we were supposed to have our dining reservation at Crystal Palace, and because of the things I was talking about with the 2-hour delay and just like constant moving around, we just ended up skipping it. We were staying at Port Orleans French Quarter. The room was ready when we got there, so we changed out of our plane gear and got into our park gear and headed to Magic Kingdom. We did utilize Lightning Lanes this trip, mostly because it was super condensed and I wanted to make sure that we did all the things that were fun. So we rode Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, Tron at night, the People Mover, and we were gonna ride Tiana's, but it just kept going down, which is fine. And then we did a Seats and Suites dessert party. I am a Seats and Suites gal. I love being able to just sit down, have some desserts, have some wine, and just kind of enjoy the fireworks in like a comfortable area. Some people love the adrenaline rush of being able to find a spot and sit there all day, or sit there for a couple hours to reserve your spot. However, I'm willing to pay a little extra money to have a nicer sit down area, in my opinion. So that's just me that I was definitely going to do. So that is just a recap of day one. Our day two recap was super fun, but also kind of rainy. We did Epcot on day two, and literally almost the entire day it just rained. It just rained all day. We did get to ride Frozen, and we rode Guardians and got September. We rode Frozen, Nemo, Living with the Land, Soarin', and Spaceship Earth. We did Moana Journey of Water at night, and it was absolutely stunning. That is probably one of my favorite things to do at a park at night, is Tron at Magic Kingdom and at Epcot, Moana Journey of Water. 10 out of 10 experience. Everything is lit up. Crowds are a lot less. It's not as hot. Definitely a 10 out of 10. And then we went to the Cake Bake Shop. Now, I'm gonna give our experience a rating. I don't know if Gracie would say the same thing. I think we both had a blast. I got the salmon, and we did like share a plate of their aioli fries. Oh my gosh, they were so good. The service there was fantastic. Definitely a hefty price tag, I will say, but the experience was so good. Our waiter was so nice. I would definitely go back. We are going back. Let me just preface that. We are going back. But yeah, that was just kind of our experience. We loved it. Kind of more of a hefty price tag, but it was super fun. So on our day 3, I'm having to look at my Instagram because I can't even remember. It was so long ago. Day 3, I kind of wanted that to be our more laid back day. So we did half of an Animal Kingdom day and the rest of it was Disney Springs. We rode the safari, Everest, Flight of Passage, and then the Navi River. We tried Mr. Kamal's seasoned fries and had lunch back at our resort. Like I said, we stayed at Port Orleans French Quarter, and then we went to Summer House on the Lake at Disney Springs and celebrated friends' birthdays. I can't say that I would go back to Summer House on the Lake, primarily because their menu was quite limited. For how much they charge, they really don't offer a whole lot, and a lot of their options were just like a mix of different things that, in my opinion, didn't really fit the theme. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I don't think I would go back, but it was nice. Kind of crowded and rowdy, but it was nice. On day 4, our last park day, we did Hollywood Studios. We rode Slinky Dog, Rise of Resistance, Tower of Terror, Toy Story Mania, and Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run was so fun on this trip. I think it was just like the overall people that we had in our little, I don't know, like thing, I guess you would say, was so fun. And then we had dinner at Sci-Fi. I feel like that's such a controversial place to eat dinner. Personally, if someone's never eaten there, which at this point Gracie had never eaten there before, it is such a fun experience. And in my opinion, at least at Hollywood Studios, that is where you can find the best burgers. I cannot to this day find a better burger in the area that I live in, and sometimes I literally crave them. They're that good. That was our Hollywood Studios day, our last park day. And then on our last day, we ended up we checked out of our hotel and then made a last minute dining reservation at the Grand Floridian Cafe. I will say their food is always fantastic. I absolutely love their food. However, they were running super behind. We waited, I think, 40 minutes for our breakfast, which is not like them, so I assumed that something happened, but it definitely was a hot minute until we got our stuff. So we were super behind. I wouldn't say we almost missed our flight, but we did miss our Mears bus, so we had to, my dad graciously picked us up and took us to the airport. And that is kind of our very quick little girls trip. To kind of briefly recap all of the major details, like our resort and just kind of all of the dining things that we did, I would say the biggest, I don't know, the biggest pros of our trip, I guess is the right way to say it, was definitely the seats and suites on night 1. It was so fun. I would say that Gracie and I definitely got a little tipsy at the seats and suites, and then right as the fireworks were done, we finished up our desserts, and then we immediately went shopping, as girls do. Bought tons of merchandise, and then grabbed some popcorn from the confectionery, went back to our resort and just like munched. Post-tipsy munchies definitely was hitting the spot. So that is what that night looked like, and I would say that was probably one of our biggest pros. I am, like I said before, a big seats and suites girl. I love being able to just sit down and relax and watch the fireworks. I'm not a big person into wanting to like sit around and find an area to sit in front of the castle for the fireworks. It's not something that I enjoy. Port Orleans French Quarter, where we stayed, I typically love this resort. It's very small, so it definitely brings some of those homey vibes to it. My only negative thing to say about this resort is that when it rains, everything floods super easily and there's really nothing to do. and you're just kind of cooped up in your room or running out into the rain trying to make it to the lobby to get beignets or to go get food or go to the gift shop, which we didn't even end up going to the gift shop, which was fine. We were super rushed. I usually love this resort. I think it was just because this was the week right before your average spring break hits and there was just a lot going on. Yeah, I would say that this stay was probably a 6 out of 10 for me, only because of just like the atmosphere. There was just so much going on. It just wasn't my average magical Disney stay. But overall though, the trip itself, I had so much fun, and I think Gracie did too, as you can see in the video. So now to go into the questions that everyone wants to know. When are we going back? And we are going back in September. We're going back into September, and we were doing something new that we've never done before, Emily and I. Or specifically me. Mia is going to Disney a lot more frequently. We're doing a split stay. And this was not an intended split stay. It was something that ended up just kind of needing to happen. So to kind of explain the situation a little, for every Disney trip that we take, we usually will take up on the bounce back offer, which essentially means that you get a percentage off on your next stay within, like, if you book it within the next week or so after your trip. We booked this trip, I believe it was in December, after our December trip, when we went down there for the long weekend, and it was super fun. We then booked our bounce back, and unfortunately with the resort that we're staying at, which I'll tell you in a minute, they only had that Monday through Sunday available. They didn't have the Sunday that we wanted to start on. So we were looking around at different resorts to see which dates varied and when certain places had availability, and it just turned out that this was the only place that we could find that had this kind of availability. So the Monday through Sunday of that following week, we are staying at Wilderness Lodge, and then the Sunday, our one and only Sunday, when we fly in, we are staying. And this is like a bucket list, a resort stay, I'm telling you. We are staying our first night at the Polynesian at a theme park firework view room in the new tower. And I am so incredibly excited. I'm so incredibly excited. You all have no idea. You all have no idea. This is like all I've been talking about. So we are going back in September. We're trying to make this the most fun-packed, the most, I don't want to say expensive, but the most well-done trip that we've ever done. Trying new things, doing all the things that we know we love, because this will likely be our last trip together for a while. Emily is starting nursing school in September, so shortly after our trip, she is going to be booked and busy for the next 2 years. And then we are getting married at the end of her nursing extravaganza, a big in school. So yeah, a lot of things going on. I have been going back and forth on wanting to take solo trips. The only reason why I'm kind of hesitant to take any solo trips is honestly because, one, safety, and two, my family lives in Orlando. So really, why am I spending extra money to stay at a resort if I'm going to stay with my parents? The only downside to that is obviously the parking, obviously the walking, obviously the early entry, which is one of my favorite perks of being able to stay on property. So we will see. I'm definitely planning on either going with friends or meeting up with friends at Disney at some point, and I will take you all along with me. But at least as of right now, this will be our last trip for a while, which is really sad. But yeah, closer to our trip, I will still plan a pack and prep like I normally do, and then obviously like all of the different vlogs. This past vlog was a little different because I quite literally didn't have a battery charger, and I was very limited as to what I could record and what I was comfortable recording on my phone before my phone died. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this kind of like roughly put together video on my last trip I know I haven't posted in a while. I just wanted to come on here and say hi, hello, I'm still alive. But just kind of recapping our last trip and then talking a little bit about our upcoming trip. So if you all liked this video and the chaos of all of it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and turn on your post notifications button, because I don't even know when the next time I'm going to post. It's going to be whenever I feel like it. So I will see you all in the next video.